Hayden, and yes, I am here to spruik sound. I'm here to explain, or at least try and convince you of the capacity of audio to convey knowledge and create meaning in ways that elude other media, for instance, books and journal articles where we traditionally publish research. So, how can sound be important in terms of conveying academic research? Well, as a medium, sound envelops. You look at something, but sound is porous and temporal. It connects through time, and I contend that the act of listening to somebody in real time actually creates a pact of intimacy that can pave the way for really deep engagement. Radio, it might surprise you, also has the best pictures. Now that might sound odd, but actually the sounds you hear will trigger images in your mind, and each one is unique. So sound is subjective. And a whole new wave of audio storytellers and fans are discovering this through shows like Radio Lab, which is a show about curiosity, This American Life about personal narratives, and through the miracle of podcasting, literally millions of people are becoming connected in this international audio community, which has been around now, podcasting, for about a decade. And that is why I make the bold statement that audio is the new black. Now, take this documentary, Will Kate Survive Kate? It's about a 29-year-old woman from Sydney with anorexia nervosa. And in it, the producer tracks Kate and her family for about a year as Kate is in and out of hospital. She, at times, is close to death. Anorexia nervosa is the mental illness with the highest fatality rate. So this is a very important topic. And I believe that audio is a particularly good treatment of this topic because audio is non-invasive. It precludes judgment on appearance. Audio doesn't mind whether you're fat or thin, old or young, black or white, wrinkly or tattooed, bald or bearded. And so that in turn makes people less self-conscious, and they are more likely to open up and give revelatory interviews because they don't feel so judged. Instead of a voyeuristic camera on Kate, focusing on her appearance, we get an insight into what's going on in her head, how she's feeling, and how this complex illness can actually get a hold of people. And I'm going to play a very short clip of Kate with her family and reading from her audio diary.
Do you know how much sugar is in it?
I don't want to know.
It doesn't matter how much sugar is in it.
Yeah, you're not supposed to look at that, love.
34.4 milligrams in 1.
Milligrams.
Rationally, it's ridiculous to eat a meal at a rate of 1p at a time, but irrationally, it feels more comfortable or safer. It's consistent.
And that's just a tiny clip from a 50-minute program that you can find online, and it is a compelling narrative, already having an impact. In fact, since it was broadcast last year, the New South Wales State Government has doubled the number of specialist eating disorder beds in the hospital facility where Kate was treated, and more have been promised. But what I want you to notice is that when you add storytelling to the innate qualities of sound, you ratchet up the impact factor. Yet, unlike film, the core qualities of excellent audio storytelling or radio documentary have not been subjected to much scholarly analysis until now. So, while radio documentary has had peer review and international awards since the 1940s, there's been very little critical analysis of the singular aesthetic and function of the form. Put simply, we need to know what makes good radio documentary so good. If we can understand that, we can harness the form to showcase the kind of research that is conducive to audio treatment. And that's why I founded Radio Doc Review, the very first scholarly journal of the radio documentary form, last year. And we have an eminent international board of scholars and practitioners from around the world who together select the best exemplars of the genre, which are then given in-depth reviews that identify and analyze the characteristics of the form. And it's available free as an open access journal hosted at UOW Research Online with links to the audio. In the first issue, we had stories from Africa, UK, US about child labour, schizophrenia, a folk cantata about the burial of Abraham Lincoln, which one of our reviewers, a scholar in the UK, said was comparable to, it was the American version of Handel's Messiah, perhaps. Next issue will analyse Will Kate Survive Kate, that documentary, restorative justice, asylum seekers, and a subtly beautiful radio poem on an unlikely theme, the loneliness of the world of cattle yards. Now, emerging from the critical analysis in Radio Doc Review is how powerfully audio conveys emotion, which has further implications, as we'll see. And to illustrate, I want to play you a clip I recorded in the Kimberley region of Northwest Australia with Phyllis, a member of the Stolen Generations. And I want to say here that a warning that you may hear audio from an Indigenous person who has passed away. Now, Phyllis's father was a white station owner whom she hardly knew. She lived with her Indigenous mother, and when she was 3, she got a fever. Mother took her into hospital in Derby, and she was passed out the back door to authorities under a policy mandated at the time that mixed-race children would be raised by whites. She was 20 before her mother could track her down. And I want you to perhaps take a minute to read what Phyllis said to me about that meeting. So obviously it was a very sad occasion. The mother can't reconcile what this adult with the toddler that she last saw. But now I'd like you to listen to the audio of Phyllis speaking those words and just consider what difference does the audio make.
It just happened that my mother came once to see me, but she was hurt. I could understand. She was upset. I mean, taking a child away at a small age and then going back to see the mother as an adult, well, she would be shocked, I suppose, thinking, oh, you're not my daughter. But that was the first and the last I've seen her.
Phyllis's mother passed away a week after that meeting, and Phyllis believes she died of a broken heart. Now, from that audio, I'm getting a sense of Phyllis as a person that the words didn't convey. Most of all, I'm hearing her pain. I'm hearing a kind of melancholic undertow in her voice that no words on a page can convey. And that's what technically we call affect. It's the ability to move, to make feelings feel, as somebody's described it. If audio can convey affect and engage our emotions, and if, as neuroscience tells us, there's a link between emotion and cognition, or what we can take in and retain, then we're onto something. We can use audio to impart certain knowledge more effectively. Not numerical data, perhaps, but less tangible, but no less significant things, such as pain and fear that colour in certain kinds of research. And this is not even mentioning audio's accessibility. Audio can be easily disseminated and absorbed. You don't even have to be literate to get audio. So to test audio's ability to, if you like, translate scholarly research, I teamed up with an anthropologist postdoc, Jackie Baker, from Uni of Wollongong. A couple of years ago, she researches the security and violence issues in Indonesia, and she had discovered that police were bypassing the judicial system in Indonesia and summarily executing some hundreds of petty criminals every year. But when she published that data in conventional outlets, it received scant attention. So we reframed the research around personal narratives that could be shaped into an audio documentary. And this picture shows the family and friends of a young man called Walkley. At 23, he was accused of stealing a motorbike, arrested by police, tortured and killed. He was still on his honeymoon. That's his wife in the polka dot there. She was too shy to talk to us, but Yenny, his sister, talked like a tiger, as the police told her disapprovingly. And we followed her journey to try and bring the police to trial, and also tracked the family. during the 40 days of mourning for Yousley. And I'm just going to play you a short clip. I applied the elements of best audio storytelling, building on character, plot and sound itself, such as the chanting you'll hear, to convert anthropology fieldwork into a radio documentary that aired on ABC last year.
Jenny's house is the green one, with the big rambutan tree, heavy with fruit. She lives here with her parents and her siblings. Jenny's mother is plump and gracious. She's devoted to her kids.
Yousley was the fifth. Yenny's number 2.
Yeti, Yenny, Yuli, Yudi, Yusli, Yogi, gitu kan?
Semua ye. Yes, everyone is Y. They are all Y.
Each Friday evening, the family holds a tahlilan, where the men of the village visit the home to pray for Yousley's soul.
Now, by personalising these stories, we managed to make these marginalised voices accessible to mainstream audiences in a foreign language, which is not an easy thing to do. But it seems to have worked. Eat, Pray, Mourn has been set as a text in 2 Australian universities and has won an International Radio Award. And perhaps more importantly, it has got the debate going about police violence in Indonesia. So I hope that as Radio Doc Review and its convivencia of scholars and storytellers continue to unpack the secrets of making good radio stories, that we'll see lots more academic research emerge cunningly disguised as audio story and informing by stealth and reaching and engaging with broad audiences. Thank you.